Hello, and thank you all for joining us. I'm your host, Allison, and today we're here with Tony Gonzalez from Tire Group International. Tony, you guys have danced a different tune with your marketing. How do you leverage relationships with sports to build your brand?
Hi, Allison. How you doing? That's a great question. I think my brother touched upon this in a prior conversation that you guys had. We try and be a little bit different with Cosmo. We understand where we are in the marketplace in terms of tire tiers, and we are definitely in that tier three. But we want to be at the top of that tier three, not only with the quality of our products, but also in how we go to market. And we feel that we're building something more than just a tire brand, but more like a lifestyle brand, right? So we've been very keen to associate ourselves in local communities with sports teams. In the case of, for example, Massillon, Ohio, we are through Ziegler, which is our distributor in that region. We are sponsoring the local high school football team, which is one of the best in the country, the Massillon Tigers, and it just happened to be Tigers, right? It goes hand in hand with Cosmo. In other areas, we're sponsoring pickleball tournaments that are happening locally. We're also here in South Florida sponsoring a Uruguayan semi-pro soccer team, for example. Most recently, we just signed a deal with the University of Miami and are sponsoring the Hurricanes, including the national radio broadcast of the game with our advertisements, in stadium signage. We're also doing a social media initiative with some of the players, etc. So we take the marketing of Cosmo very seriously because we understand that the consumer has a lot of choices, and we want to be that brand that they think of when they walk into a store and they see maybe a sign, or maybe they just come in and ask for our tires, which we're hearing from a lot of our dealers in the areas where we have strong distribution around the country, that customers are now walking in asking for Cosmo because they've seen our presence in a sporting event, or they've seen our presence in the racing circuits. We're also very involved on the racing side of things with teams, multiple teams, not only in drifting, endurance racing, 4x4 off road, and autocross. So again, we're very active, and our marketing team is constantly on the go. Just this last weekend, they were in Oregon. The prior weekend, they were in California. And sometimes we have multiple events here in Florida and in other areas of the country, Texas, etc. So we really put a lot of effort, and we enjoy that a lot because we know that we're building brand equity that is not only going to be beneficial to us, but to our distributors and to our retailers ultimately, which is our goal.
Absolutely. That is so cool to hear. And share with us a little bit about how Roll Auto Racing plays into your strategy.
Well, auto racing does one of two things, and I mentioned it prior with regards to building brand equity and brand presence, and getting your name out there and making it memorable, especially if you're winning. And we do win quite a few races, right? But also, it really helps us on the development side of things, and testing our products, and proving to the consumer that our products are able to perform at the highest levels with some of the better known names. Because in most of these races, we are racing against tier two and tier one brands. And in a lot of cases, we are winning. And people can't understand how our tire, which costs maybe half of what a tier one tire costs, can perform to that level. And it's simply because we've been testing, and we've been refining, and we've been increasing our expenditure on R&D, and just building and coming out with a better product. And today, there's good quality products out there because most tires out there are definitely pretty good, and performing at all the different tiers. But we feel that we are a step ahead in terms of R&D and really putting our tires to the test through these racing formats that we participate in.
Absolutely. And you mentioned a little bit about how a tire can become a lifestyle brand. So, do you mind elaborating on that a little bit?
Sure. One thing is like to sell a product and just move volume. The other thing is to cultivate a culture around it. And in today's world with social media, in today's world with all these car shows and all these events going on around the country on a week in, week out basis, we have an opportunity to showcase our brand in a way that wasn't possible 20 years ago, 30 years ago, even 10 years ago. So we are very focused on making sure that we develop not only a great product, which obviously you have to have in order to back up what your claims are and what your marketing says you are, but we also are spending a lot of time developing point of sale material and apparel and things that people want to actually wear and use that have that Cosmo name on them. And you couple that with the performance side of it and having the tires do what they are born to do, because we like to use that. You know, when we launch a new tire, we say a new cat is born, and that kind of thing. You know, again, we're a little different. We're a little irreverent when it comes to our branding. But yeah, it's a lifestyle, and you know the people that we have on our race teams and the people that follow our brand are true car enthusiasts, and that is a lifestyle that they lead, and we're part of that lifestyle, and that's how we go to market, and that's what we cultivate, and we think in the end that's what's going to really set us apart.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing with me today, Tony. It was a pleasure having you here, and thank you all for watching. We'll catch you next time.
Thank you.